The following game has no ESRB rating, nor is there any sort of restrictive content warning or any sort of warning as to what may be in the game. From what I have played so far, it doesn't seem to have anything worrisome in terms of age-restrictive content. So if I were to guess, if it were to have an ESRB rating, I would say most likely it would be rated E for everyone. So following that guess, and having never completed the game, I can't say exactly the whole of it just from my experience, but I would say that anyone under the age of 6 should not be watching this video. You have been warned. Greetings and salutations, I am Outlier and I bid you welcome to this channel. Joining me today is of course my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today we're returning back to Autonauts. No, as far as I know, there's nothing submersible about this game. Well, I don't believe that's an actual mechanic in the game, or at least not as yet. It's not something I'm willing to rule out as an impossibility. So, they may be able to uprise, but I haven't gotten to that point yet where they're probably smart enough to actually do so, and /or care. Although I believe the bots do currently outnumber the player and all colonists at a ratio of a little over 10 to 1. I think I have almost 40 bots built. But that is neither here nor there. So the premise of Autonauts is that you build a colony on a distant world from your original civilization. And while you can stop and chop down every tree to harvest every chunk of wood and process each chunk of wood to various materials and build everything in the game needed to supply and support and manage a colony, you don't have to, and it's actually recommended that you don't, because it's a lot of tedious work. A lot of tedious work that an entire army of programmable robots can do for you, which I may have leveraged to, I don't want to say an excessive amount, but probably an excessive amount, given just the sheer load of extra resources I happen to have just sitting around. But that's neither here nor there. We'll see how it goes in the actual episode. This game is of course made by Thank you again. And that being said, let us begin. Okay, so this is the colony. So last episode, if you didn't get a chance to see it, we built technically this forest. And then so as a means to harvest branches and other materials needed to build, well, tools and other things. Now I should point out, in the construction of this forest, we discovered that we didn't need it. So I moved the branch making or branch harvesting crew over to the standard lumberjack area, and we're just basically leaving this alone for now. A couple episodes ago, we also built an apple farm, and before that, we have mushrooms and berries. Also, 3 colonists. This is us right here, and a whole bunch of robots. all of which are quickly running out of power. So, oh, I'm sorry, we actually have 60 robots. I'm not even close. Also have this completely empty field, which we will probably be getting to shortly. And why is there a robot just sitting inside a massive pile of turf? I really need to figure out what I'm going to do with this, but for now, I'm just going to let it sit there. So, I guess the first thing we should do is rewind everybody. So, I'm thinking this is the rewind bot. I could be mistaken about that. It is not. It was probably the one right on top of it. Or not. There we go. Oh, that's the wrong button. Just when there's a way to rotate the camera. That just shifts it around. Maybe not. Oh well. Moot point. So anyway, if we look at the plans that we currently have the science plan, which we are in the process of doing. We need to complete 6 more research projects, of which we currently have power technology being researched. And research usually requires a topic that we're studying, a stick, and well, an item to research on, and a large pile of love. Get to that in a minute, as well as farming vegetables. So that one requires us to scythe some pumpkins, plant some pumpkin seeds, and store some pumpkins. So that's the plan for this field right here. I happen to have a couple pumpkins right here in this, well, wheat field. And I also have some raw pumpkin right there and some seeds. So yeah, there's that. Also have a couple robots not actually doing anything, so they're going to be, well, working this field once I get around to it. So, I mentioned colonist love before. These are the colonists. The objective is to build a colony and, I guess, get them through the path of enlightenment. Well, evolve them through the path to enlightenment, which I would assume is up here. And for right now, it's just basically get them to level 2. We have to keep them fed and we have to keep them sheltered, which we're doing. And as we keep them fed and keep them sheltered, they eventually go around producing what's known as love, which are these little crystalline heart thingies. And they are supposed to be gathered by a robot, dumped here, and then this robot takes the love out of here and then dumps it in the research station. Can't talk anymore. So that's as far as we've gotten so far. We don't have any apples stored either. Because he's still probably picking them up. Probably should have a central storage which everything feeds into, that everything can then be disseminated from. That requires a massive redesign, and I don't feel like doing that right now. So, pumpkins. For pumpkins, we need to head back over this way. Because we need to grow and, well, scythe and grow and get pumpkins. So, let's see what I want to do. It's been a while since I played this game, so I sometimes forget what I need to do for various things. Memory serves, we need to scythe the pumpkin with, well, scythe. I believe we need to then hit the pumpkin with a hammer, I think. And that produces the raw pumpkin and the seeds. And then I need places to store the raw pumpkins and the seeds, and probably something to process the raw pumpkin, and a whole bunch of fun stuff. And on top of that, I'm not currently making size. That's crude pick, crude hammer, gears. Yeah, I don't actually have somewhere to build scythes just yet. So, in addition to the size, I'm going to need to build a mediate product, the crude blade. So I'm going to need 2 more robots, technically 4 robots, for Smith & Sons, because the robots don't have a large enough brain to gather the resources, build the thing, and then take it to storage. I need an actual robot to tell it from, say, here to there. So the first thing we need to do is get 2 more crude workbenches. Really don't have much room left here, so we'll put them. Actually, hang on. Where is recharging robot for Smith & Sons? Smith & Sons. Alright, so their range is actually over here. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have you stop. I'm going to have to adjust it a little. It's still not really all that big. But it's better than it was, so we'll keep it there. And then we start. So for blueprint wise, you can move things. There we are. You know, let's pause everything real quick. Okay, that's the wrong button. Yeah. So for movement purposes, right, so where is? Do I even have a crude flail? No scythe. Okay. No, we do not. So first thing we're going to need to do is grab a stick. And we're going to beat this bush to drop some berries, because it has berries and I don't feel like wasting berries. Let's say bears or berries. Then we dig up the bush, because it's in the way. As well as these wildflowers, because again, they're also in the way. Put the stick back because we don't need the stick anymore. Take the berries. Just drop them over here. It's simply because everything is filled. And then we take 2 units of turf. Grab 4 just for the fun of it. And fill in these areas. Simply because I can. And I just happen to have spare turf. So now that that's over and done with, back to the blueprint. So we move the structure. Wait until they're done. Put it there. Move this structure. Put that there. Put this over here. And then I can have the scythes here and crude blades here. So. Well, technically I should probably put hammers here and then scythes and then crude blades, so. Oh. Wrong button. There we are. And this goes
thusly. Yeah, that should be good enough. I actually forgot to build the thing. So then we have this here and this here. Then we also need storages. Pallets. Okay, so if the barrels and the small silos, what exactly do they do? Back to the automatopoeia.
Yes, I know that's not how it's pronounced.
It's for a train. Where is spot parts? Where are structures? That's how you make it. That would actually tell me what these things were for. So, you know, if I could put, say, axes and other tools into barrels, I'd prefer to know before building one. I mean, it says it just goes in crates, so. As do the pumpkin seeds, and they're all pumpkins, so I don't actually know what a barrel is used for. So, but I guess we could technically just build one and find out. Let's just build one of each.
Okay, so I need 4 poles and 10 planks for the barrel. Very expensive resource-intensive barrel.
But it's not like I don't have the resources to spare. Wrong button. Alright, so what can fit in a barrel? Can I fit a shovel in a barrel? I cannot, so I don't need to worry about putting tools in a barrel. What about rocks? Can I shove a rock in a barrel? No, I cannot. As for the silo, I need 4 poles, 6 planks, and 2 logs. Did not realize I was still holding stones. And also 2 logs. However, I can only carry 1 log at a time, and that is a large number of tree seeds and sticks. And that's a lot of people currently unpowered. What the caretakers had? That's the lumberjacks. Yeah, okay. So I could have sworn the caretakers had a robot for recharging capabilities, and the silo's built. Didn't actually stop to look at that, but now you see one thing in construction, you've seen them all. Again, can I store? Can't store tools. Can't store rocks, so probably no other resources. So it's not a case that they hold other things, they hold better things, or they're better at holding things, they just hold different things. Good to know. We'll just store those for now, for later use. And back to what we're doing, so we have these 2 workbenches, and we're going to need extra storages for them, so more crates. I'm probably just going to speed clean through this as I build everything, or, you know, I could just edit it all out.
Or you just stand there slightly dumbfounded, wondered where he got the berry from. I thought I told you to put that down.
Somebody didn't plant any more trees. Alright, so who upon the lumberjacks actually Mark 1 bot? The first robot I ever built. Going to be stopped real quick, so that way the lumberyard has a chance to regrow. That's annoying. It's a good thing I have such a large supply of logs. Very large extra supply of logs. Alright, so there we go. So we now have 2 workbenches and extra storages for everything. So we go over here. This one shall make the crude hoe. Not the crude hoe, the crude scythe. And then this one should make crude blades. And I should probably get one for the flail. So that way these guys can use it instead of sticks. Maybe later. Meantime, so now that I have the work areas built, I'm going to need robots to actually, well, work it. So we come over here to the bot assembly unit, and we can just build 4 more extra basic bots. One to actually use the workbench, another to haul everything from the workbench to the storage. However, what I'm hoping for is that the standard bot, which requires a bot head, a bot body, and a bot drive, is smarter. At the very least, it can store more information. So rather than having 2 basic bots do what I just said, you can have hopefully just 1 bot gather the resources, build the thing, and then take it over to storage. So that way I can do the exact same task with half the robots, and I can either just shove these guys off somewhere unused or repurpose them for other things. Once we rewind this guy. Go. So to make a bot, as I just said, I require a bot head, a bot bot, and a bot drive. Those are made from the basic bot workbench. So we make the bot head Mark 1. We need 1 plank and 1 tree seed. Should point out this is the first time I've ever actually made one of these, so your guess is as good as mine as to how well it's actually going to be. Take that, dump it over here. Then the body requires 2 planks and a pole. Ideally, I probably should have just simply had them stacked up in the opposite direction. Otherwise, it's going to be upside down. So for the drive, I'm going to need a log, a plank, and a pole. Although this doesn't really matter to go back to the conversation I was having between the other conversation that I was having. These trees look bigger than these trees to you? Oh, maybe I guess if I let them grow even further, they get bigger. Interesting. Alright, and so we have the drive, and then we just plop it here. And then we have a bot. Rewind this bot. And we tell it to do things. So it has 16 kilobytes of free information. I guess the loop is an extra. So I think the basic bots have 12 kilobytes of information, whereas the bots have, well, 16. So I'm guessing they can have up to 4 more instructions. Also looks like maybe I can upgrade them somehow. Because it's got little plus signs here. So what happens if I give him this? He just holds it. Stop everything. Alright. One of these days I'm going to figure out how to upgrade the robots. One of these days. Till then, I'm going to have you record. I'm going to have you go over here. I'm going to take a stone. You're going to put it here. I'm going to take another stone. You're going to put it here. I'm going to make the crude blade. I'm going to take the crude blade and put it here. I'm going to do that forever. Yep. He's got 2 kilobytes free and he should be able to do everything. So, start. One quick thing I just want to double check before I go back and do something else. Smith and Sons. Workbench. Okay, so I actually have it due until crude pickaxe storage is full. So, mark 1 bot. Have you stop for a second. Record again. So we're going to have you do until question mark filled. Question mark will be this thing. And we're going to have you do that forever. So he should stop once. I'll grab this and put this in. Put that in there. So once the storage gets filled, he just should stop. And then once it empties, he should start back up. Meantime, I'm going to need yet another bot, this one to make sides. So for the drive, I'm going to need a plank, a pole, and a log again. I'm going to need to rewind this guy. You know what, the trees are mostly regrown, so I'm going to have the Mark 0-1 to differentiate him from the newer bots. Can go back to chopping trees. Kind of interesting that all these bots so far require acorns in order to actually function in some way. Wrong button. Alright, now that that's done, we just plop it here to make yet another bot. bot number 2 gets charged. And we record. What we're going to have you do is come over here, grab a crude blade. I'm going to have you drop it over here. I'm going to come over here and grab a stick. Drop the stick over here to make a scythe. Then you're going to take the scythe and put it here. You're going to do that until this is filled. And you will do this until, well, forever. Now go. Just making certain he's actually going to do everything that I need him to do. Yeah, that's a scythe, alright. Alright, so now we wait until, well, we have at least a small decent surplus of scythes. Meantime, I should probably, I should actually probably put, assign these guys to Smith & Sons. Because they're part of Smith & Sons. And I should probably actually upgrade the other workstations with, well, better robots. In the meantime, bot 57, 58, and 60. I'm sorry, 59. 60's over here. So, first thing we're going to do is have 57 get rid of this. So we're going to have you dig, find nearest soil in area. Area being this 11 by 11 area. Put this into do until hands empty loop. And he should start digging, so. Meantime, bot number 60. I have him stop. Record. Remove all of this. And I can grab the pumpkin seed. And moving rather slow. Of course, he's also running low on power. I'm going to have him plant the pumpkin seed. So for right now, going to have basically search for pumpkin seeds on the ground, and then he's just going to pick them up and rebury them. That actually did not take all that long to grow. So that's 2 of these guys done, so I'm going to need somebody to scythe the pumpkins, and you're the recharger, right? Yeah, you're just the recharger, so guess what I really should do is create a new team. think I'm up to that color now. Or not. Now that's the color for the fruit flyer, so I guess they did have it right. So the Team 9 will be... I need a name for Team 9. They'll be the pumpkin pickers. Now we'll call it the plumpkin pickers, because for some reason I always keep calling the pumpkins plumpkins in Animal Crossing. Don't know why, don't much care. So, meantime, so that's the team there. So I need... 59's digging the holes. 57. Alright, so 58 isn't actually doing anything just yet. 57 is the one digging the holes. 59 is the recharge robot. And then 60 is replanting the seeds. Well, what passes for replanting the seeds for now. So I'm going to need storages for seeds, the pumpkin pieces, the raw pumpkin. I don't think they need anything other than that, so... Just make these storages real quick. Alright, so now that storage is done. The answer to that is simple. Robots only make sense when I have to do a repetitive task, basically indefinitely. So, like, for instance, digging these holes, I believe he'll need to dig a new hole every time I want a new pumpkin planted, so it makes sense for a robot to do that. Same with planting the pumpkins, or harvesting the pumpkins, or even just the apples, or harvesting things like rocks, or sticks, or just logs. No, it's the same task over and over and over and over again, so it makes sense to have a robot do that. Same with tool construction and everything else. Building construction, on the other hand, is essentially a one-time deal. So it's basically a case where I just have them build this, and that's it. That's the end of the task. So once it's built, the robot doesn't do anything else, because there's nothing left to build. So it's basically a waste of a robot, and I can just basically build it all myself and then just have the robots use it. Now, I could technically designate a space where I can just have them build like crates and pallets and silos and other things ad nauseum, and as I need the building, I could probably, just remove the old one and then just plop down a new one and then reprogram it to build that one. But that seems to take a lot of oversight and pre-planning and all that stuff. And while I seem to go through crates a ridiculous amount, it's not something I feel I need or probably can even mass produce. So I just have them. I just build them myself as needed. But that's a moot point. And this is taking forever just to dig every hole over here. So what I'm going to do is robot 58. I'm going to have you stop and then relearn how to do this. And dump this all in here. Change the area to match the field. And then we play. Keep forgetting I still have spade in my hand. Doing that. So we'll eventually get this area filled, and once all the holes are dug, I'll probably reprogram 58 to do something else. Probably have him scythe the pumpkins. Meantime, I'm going to need to scythe the pumpkin to get more seeds. Yeah, okay. Alright, so mark 60, or mark 0-60, I should say. Wait, he should be planting the seeds, not picking up turf. Weird. Okay, so what I'm going to have him do, and it's probably empty for this, but he's going to pick up a seed, then he's going to plant it. He's going to plant it. Then the area for the seeds will be this area. It's already set for 2 forever, and then we go. Just plop the seed down in there, or have him to pick it up and then replant. And so I still technically need a robot to scythe the pumpkins, another to hit the pumpkins, and then one to gather the seeds, put them in here, one to gather the pumpkin, the raw pumpkin, and put them in there. So that's 4 robots. So now I can build 4 more robots, or 4 more basic robots, because even the regular bots enhanced. Wow, that filled up faster than I thought it would. Anyway, as I was saying, even the robots enhanced brains, I don't think can handle all of that all at once. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a regular bot.
Yes, I know what I said. Hear me out real quick.
I'm going to build a regular bot, and since I know one standard bot can replace 2 basic bots, I'm essentially going to build 2 basic bots, have them take over the jobs in Smith & Sons, and then repurpose the robots that are no longer part of Smith & Sons to work the pumpkin field with the other pumpkin fields. Although technically, now that I think about it, I actually have 2 robots digging holes, and I only planned on having 1. So I think 58 I was planning on having be the scyther. But still, I need 1 to hammer the pumpkins, 1 to and then 2 more to gather everything. So that's still 3. So the plan still stands. It's just I don't need 4 of them.
Ideally, what I could also do is build more of these bot assembly, build more of the basic bot workbenches, and then automate the workbenches with bots to basically keep building the pieces.
Yes, I know that's one step closer to them being self-sufficient, which is something we're trying to avoid, so that way they don't uprise. However, they'll only be programmed to build the pieces. They won't be able to do finished bot assembly. So that way I can just have a stockpile of parts as opposed to running around just building them one at a time. And then whenever I need a bot, I just gather all the parts and build a new bot. So all this stuff is filled, but what we're going to have you do is you're going to come over here, and they're actually out of stones. I actually did not foresee that. I need more stone masons. Well, remember when I said that I'm going to have a spare bot? Guess what's going to happen? I'm not going to have a spare bot anymore. So, Mark 12 is building... What is he doing? Crude workbench 1. Which one's crude workbench? Okay, so he's building axes. So what we're going to have you do, we're going to have you stop. And drop everything, just in case. So, I'm going to grab you a pickaxe. This will be important for, well, now. So. Then we're going to have you go over here. And start digging. So, still working. So, go to the stone deposit. Let's take crude pickaxe. Use held item. I missed the stuff, hang on. Let's try this again. Alright, so go to the nearest stone deposit, move to the stone deposit, use held item, and rather than it be due until crude workbench is filled, we're going to have due until... Where's hands empty? Due until hands empty, at which case you go to crude pickaxe storage 1 and then take from crude pickaxe storage. Now go. Of course, that means that 12 gets moved from Smith & Sons to the Stonecutters Guild. Because he is now a stonecutter. Of course, that means I don't have anybody picking building axes. But only the one lumberjack needs the axe, so... Should be a moot point. In the meantime, where's bot number Mark 1-3? So Mark 1-3 goes over here, and I already used the stone. Okay. Okay, so we are clearly going to have to do something about this, because I have more bots just waiting for stone than anything, so I'm going to have everybody stop. Well, everybody in Smith & Sons stop. Then we're going to wait until we actually have stones available. Oh look, a stone's available. So what I'm going to have you do, down, forward, you're going to take a stone from here, put it here. Already a stick there, isn't it? Alright, you're also going to take a stick, and then put that there. Oh, wrong one. Put that there. stone storage, take stone storage, crude workbench, add crude workbench, stick storage, saves the crude workbench 1, use that once, and I'm going to need a new stone, aren't I? Alright, just ignore that. I guess that's everything. So, do until question mark filled. Let's put X storage. Add this to here. And then do that forever. I'll go. Now, crude X storage is, well, filled, so... Here's spot 15. What's spot 15 do? I'm assuming... Yeah, okay, so he's the one that takes the axes from the axe storage to, well, from the axe workbench to, the storage. So I don't need him either. We're going to have you record. We're actually going... Oh. Now, we're going to actually move you off so that way I know where you are, and move you to the pumpkin pickers real quick. And they're actually done digging all the holes, so... What did I say? 59? No, 59 is the recharge spot. 58. I'm going to need to have you empty your hands real quick. And then... I need to have you grab a scythe. Alright. So what I need you to do is I need you to scythe this pumpkin. Then we have the area of his searching match the field. And he'll do that until hands are empty, after which point he grabs a new spade, or new scythe. Then that'll be done forever. Now go. Let's grab this shovel as well. Now put that in shovel storage. Pickaxe storage is also maxed out, so we'll have them clear that workbench as well, because there's actually a stone on it. So we're going to go over here. Actually, you know, hang on, where is... Gotta grab a hammer first. Give that to bot 15. Alright, so then we record. Bot 15 goes around and just starts whacking pumpkins on the head. Put that in there. And we change the location for the pumpkins. What it searches for again, just the entire field. Then we're going to change this from until crude axe storage is empty until hands empty. At which point we go back and grab another hammer. We do that forever. Now go. We just dump the seeds in here. Clean all this stuff up real quick. And then I need to build another bot to replace 2 more. I'm thinking crude pickaxes. So, simply because I got plenty of crude pickaxes right now. So, I mean, yeah, technically I should replace something that I'm actually using. So it'll probably be the shovels then instead. Plank. The Woodcutters Guild seems to be, well, out of power. And 1 pole. So we'll just... What's 52 do? Not part of the Woodcutters Guild, so I don't know what the Woodcutters Guild does. Not what he does, myself. Apologies. I don't think I have a recharger for the Woodcutters Guild. Interesting. Because, you know, I got somebody... You know, working... Grabbing the logs, turning them to planks. One taking the planks and storing them here. Another taking the planks, turning them to poles. And one of them taking the poles and putting them in pole storage. I don't think I actually have a recharger. Oh, and Mark 1-3 is part of the Smith and Sons area. There's that. And now he starts building an axe. Because now we have axes in need of being used. Just making certain he does everything that he needs to do, and he does, so there's that. Yeah. So anyway, what I was doing, oh yeah, pole. So I do need a recharger for the Woodcutters Guild. Then I need 2 more planks and a pole for the torso. And a plank and a tree seed for the head. Alright, so bot number 4. Board. So I'm going to have you grab a stone. Plop it here. Grab a stick. Plop it here. Take the spade you just built and put it in here. I want you to do that until storage is filled, and you're going to do that forever. Now go. Alright, so you're not part of Smith and Sons, so who was originally building? So, Food Workbench 2 is, I believe, this. Yeah, so you're the one that was building the, shovels. Is that what they were? So we're going to just get rid of all of this. What I'm going to have you do is you're going to come over here. To empty your hands as well. You're going to pick up a pumpkin seed and put it in here. Going to change the area to be a little bit larger than the actual field, in case, you know, stuff falls out. And we're just going to be easier just to get rid of the old forever loop and just plop in a new one. Now go. But 13 is not part of the pumpkin pickers. So 14 made the pickaxes. What did 34 do? "34 is the recharging robot. Okay. So where's the robot that dumped everything to storage? 16. Okay, so 16 is the one that took the spades from the workbench to storage, so you're next, so we're going to have you record. What I'm going to have you do is, if I can find some, those are seeds. Drop it. Alright, so yeah. Fine, plant the pumpkin seed. Raw pumpkin. Get rid of all of this. And this. And this and this. So find raw pumpkin in, again, area just slightly larger than the field. After which point, you just drop it off here. You do that forever. Now go. $16 goes back over to the pumpkins before I forget. And I was going to say, I did have one that hits the pumpkins with the mallet. So this one, so this industry should now be fully automated in that I have somebody digging a hole to plant the seed, somebody else planting the seed. Once the pumpkin's fully grown, somebody comes in and slices the pumpkin, then somebody else comes through and hits the pumpkin with a hammer, breaking it open for the seeds in the raw pumpkin, which somebody collects the seeds and puts them here, and somebody else collects the raw pumpkin and puts them here. So that should complete the full cycle, which means that, oh no, I have to actually store pumpkins. What do you need to store pumpkins? I'm confused now. And how do I get the seeds to plant more pumpkins? Okay, so I guess one thing that we're going to have to do is the pumpkin picker that's actually doing the hammering. I'm going to need you to stop real quick. Also, the one hauling the raw pumpkins, I'm going to need you to stop real quick. I'm also probably going to need to take all the raw pumpkins out of storage. Come on. I saw that stick there. We're going back to, storage with the stick, for the stick. Rewind you. Because once again, the guy planting the, for new trees ran out of power outside the recharge area. And, the guy with the axe just literally chopped everything down. So that's going to be a problem. Say, why aren't I getting fresh pumpkins? But, it's because the one that's scything the pumpkins, is currently offline. Okay, so now that you're up and running, are you actually scything the pumpkins? Okay. And they do in fact go in the box storage. I mean, technically, if I want to be creepy about it, I could just technically take the same pumpkin out and put it back in 20 times. Or though, since I can hold 2 pumpkins at once, just keep it even. Because to be honest, I don't see much need to store actual pumpkins. Oh look, plan complete. Wow. We have farmed vegetables. We get the Autonaut Certificate of Awesomeness awarded to you for farming vegetables pumpkin patch. I get a plumber's cap. And then I get a farming vegetables commemorative slab to be added to the totem pole. Alright, so then we just simply put the pumpkins back down there. And, we restart the guy with the hammer. And, the one all in raw pumpkin. And then I put all this raw pumpkin back into the bin. Because as I was saying before, as far as I know, I don't actually need just the pumpkins for anything. Plus, in order to grow more pumpkins, I need the pumpkin seeds, which can't be gotten without smacking the pumpkins. I think the raw pumpkin's the ingredient, and the pumpkin's just an intermediary step. So I'm just going to, well, put another pumpkin down here. Simply because this is the one that I took. And just grab a seed. I mean, I could probably just grab it off the ground. And plant the seed down. There we go. And I'm assuming, based off of the look of it, eventually, the field will eventually be filled with pumpkins, provided, of course, the guy with the scythe doesn't outrun the guy digging more pumpkins. Which may actually be the case, but I don't believe I actually have enough spare seeds yet to cover the entire field. So we're just going to wait and see how this plays out. Although I now probably actually do have 20 pumpkins sitting there. I can just grab them all and just shove them in storage. But again, the actual pumpkin I think is just an intermediary step for now. And what I really want is the pumpkin seeds and the raw pumpkin chunks, which I believe, if I go over here, yeah, so for the only recipe that I have that uses pumpkin anything, at least as far as I know, requires a crude mixing pot, 4 raw pumpkin, and some weeds, which I'm not quite certain how to get yet. And that makes herby pumpkin. The only thing that I know of that utilizes the raw pumpkin chunks doesn't use the pumpkin itself, so there's no point on storing just the pumpkins. so we're just going to rewind these guys. I'm curious. Is there more stone under this turf? How do I get 2 things of turf? Don't think so. My one thought is if I increase the size of the stone area, there's a good chance that I might be able to, you know, increase stone production. What are you doing just sitting there? Which one are you? It'd be nice if I could read that. Stop. Record. Go here. And pick up pickaxe. Now go. Alright, so we had a flaw in his programming. So we should now be going to, well, to harvest more stone. And now that I have a semi-decent supply of stone available, I should probably turn on the rest of the Smith & Sons. Okay, so the rest of Smith & Sons should now be operating and doing their thing. Okay, you're bot 34, so you're the recharging bot in charge of rewinding all of this. Okay, so what are you doing now? Why are you stuck on just picking up the crude blade? Empty your hand. Let's start anew. Stop. Empty hands again. And start anew. Just to reset the workbench, so that way he doesn't have just a spare stone just sitting around. Okay, so he should be good now. So I have a new bot building axes, spades. I need one to replace the hammers and the pickaxes. But I'm maxed out on, well, not maxed out on hammers right now. I'm maxed out on pickaxes, and I don't think I really need. Okay. Who's the guy digging holes? Alright, so if I want just an entire pumpkin just filled, if I want a field filled entirely with pumpkins, much like the berry pickers and the mushmen, which are currently offline again, I am probably going to need to have them, once I get enough seeds stockpiled, I am probably going to need to just have somebody just have them all stop, have the one digging holes just redig all the holes, the one planting the pumpkins just plant all the pumpkins, and once that's done, turn everybody back on. And so that should clear out the whole, field. Half the field is laying fallow. Rewind you. Oh, where is lumberjacks? One's 27. Let's rewind 27 and have him rewind everybody else. Right now, all I'm really just mostly just doing is just simply rewinding everybody. So we now have pumpkins up and running. So now that pumpkins are done, look at the academy. One we're currently working on is science, and it looks like carrots and so it looks like farming vegetables and farming stage 2 fruit. Looks like we're getting coconuts in that one. Both require level 2 research of plant breeding technology. Baking requires cooking level 2, and pottery requires pottery level 2. But it looks like the next plans that I can work on is basic cooking, where I need to build a crude mixing pot and a crude cooking pot. And well, I already have food foraged and stored, so we'll do that one next. And then we also have farming arable. I need to hoe the soil. I need to plant cereal crops. I need to have crops grown. I need to site down the crops. I need to thresh the cereal, and I need to store the cereal. So this is probably going to be one of the more, like the pumpkins, it's probably going to be more of a in-depth one. Although it would give me a use for this field, and I do have access to raw cereal crops. So that's probably what I should be working on next. Science is just going to happen as it happens. And cooking, so I would need to just basically, I guess, build the resources that I need, and rather than just feeding them the raw mushrooms and berries and apples, I would then just, I guess, feed them, well, cook them actual meals and then feed the colonists meals. And that may get me to the next step of evolution, it may not, I'm not quite certain. But that's another issue for another time, because I'm going to call it here.
Everybody stay safe from the plague, and have a good day.